Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, the Smiths in the Black with the macro vid coming into the exhaustion month of the quarter, end of the year. And, we had a sell-off on Friday a little bit for another variant. So but when you take a macro vid, macro look at things, you can see the quarter and the SPY, and this has just been chewing its way all year and still is. So nowhere near getting that reversal. We're going to finish off the year depending on what happens here. The handy 3-2 to the upside and nowhere near taking this out. Now, if we take that out, and we'll talk about the 3-2 too, but nowhere near doing that. If we go to QQQ, remember Qs were too strong to go outside month or outside year last year, and just coming into the end of the quarter and still handily fine. So as far as they're concerned, if we go to the small cappers, a little bit different of a story here in the small capper quarter, and you can see this inside quarter poke down rev strat, but then into exhaustion and now coming back for a potential shooter on the quarter. We got some time on that, but we'll keep an eye on that. It's a little bit, one of these things ain't like the others. If you see, and on the year here, still the 3-2 so far. So if you go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, also did the 3-2 year. We know that, finishing off the year. So you got some distance for that to be a 3-2-2. Go to the quarterly, and it's a little sketch. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this closes out, because if we can back off a little bit, we could open that year for a 2-2 quarter, but we've still got to close that out. If we go to the transports did take that quarter to the upside. Good chance of an inside quarter next quarter, but we'll see as it backs off a little bit. If we go to FAS, and FAS backs off the highs, so right in the middle of the quarter there. If we go to XLE, it's getting closer here, potential of 2-2-2 back down, still 2 up as far as we know. OIH, a little worse, so potential inside quarter. You can see how this is stuck down in here. We'll see XRT retail. XRT took out these 2 inside quarters and then comes right back in like a lot of things. So we want to see how this closes out as well. If we go to XLK, that's fine on the quarter. If you go to the SMH, still on the quarterly, fine, 2 up. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to the inside quarters, to the upside, Ford Motor Company took care of business on that, so we'll see. It does what it's supposed to do, take all these guys out, so it hits magnitude, but that's still working so far as we know. If we go to plug inside quarter to the upside, takes these guys out, then it'll be quite the climb up into here, but does its job. It's still inside quarter to the upside. If you go to RBLX, nice 1-bar rev strat quarter, nowhere near, it's coming back down. It's in exhaustion risk though. Mara here, and Mara coming back down. So we'll keep an eye on the bit turns here, because either this retakes all this kind of stuff or sets up rev strat quarter for next year. If we go to Fisker, and Fisker, slight quarter to the upside here, that's still above 1948. You're slightly above that. CVS here, inside quarter to the upside, and that reconfirms your inside year to the upside, CVS. If we go to Home Depot, 3-2 year, still good, exhaustion risk, but now you still an inside quarter to the upside, so we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of exhaustion risk in this. Coinbase takes the inside quarter to the upside. Big mother bar to get out of, though, and so that's still above 294. If we go to Murphy Oil, and Murphy setting up potential shooter counters hammer, but took these guys out, wasn't strong enough to come up here. You can watch that with the XLE and OIH and XOP and whatnot. If we go to STX, and STX, 1-bar rev strat, quarter to the upside, just hits exhaustion risk and backs off like a lot of things have. If we go to APP, nice newer issue, and once again exhaustion risk and backs way off. Good chance of inside quarter next quarter for these guys. And exhaustion for the inside year gang coming up here. Only 1 more month DRNA took that inside year to the upside. CVS I just showed you. BCRX. And BCRX. Nope. There you go. Took that inside year, just exhausted up into there. Running out of time on these boys, so just be aware of that INMD. Hell, that was a real nice one. that was a real nice one. Don't want to go too far down the food chain here. I see. There, little guy still trying to hold on to that. The inside quarters to the downside. Disney takes out the inside quarter, and we know that that thing's had all sorts of trouble, and there it is. If you go to DraftKings, inside quarter to the downside, and we know that thing's been hurting as well. If you go to Space, Memer, inside quarter to the downside for another month. Go to Big Mo, inside quarter to the downside. If we go to Fubo hard to see. It is here, but it's below 2277, inside quarter to the downside. If you go to IBM, boom, 212 inside quarter and coming back through that previous range. Having some problems there is IBM. Finish it off. If we go to iPaper still 212 inside quarter to the downside. If we go to Allstate, another inside quarter to the downside, 212 back down. If we go beyond the meats, boom, inside quarter to the downside, below that 104.02, nice little hit there. SWKS, also 212 in the semis, coming back down on the quarter. So we want to see how far these things are going to be taken coming into the end of the year, see if we can set up some shooters and all that kind of fun. If we go to BIIB, also this stock in this mess, but it is inside quarter to the downside. Oak to Octus, very slightly. You can see stuck in all this range up in here. But it's going to get interesting because here's your year right here and getting closer to down into here. But right now, inside quarter to the downside, Octa. And if we go to Corvo, so you got a couple of semis. Corvo also inside to the downside. And QURE, your loser on the inside year to the downside. Just a month left on that, though. On our hammer quarter up, the 222 Chevron here. Hit some magnitude here. The question is, can you get out of this mother bar there? Not out of there yet. APA in the energies also hammer up. We got EOG. Also slight 222, takes care of magnitude, which was only that, and then backs off. So watching all those with the other energies to see if they can get going, because you got PXD. Also did the 2 down, 2 up hammer, just hit some magnitude up into there. If we go to BG, Bungie, also the hammer counter shooter just hits its magnitude, and that's what's going to happen when you get closer to the end of the quarters. If they work, which they did, General Mills to a lesser extent still has some room up into here. You can watch that with XLP. And the hammer years, as we bid adieu to them, it's exhaustion month. Bank of America, and you can obviously watch that with all the banks. And of course, our Ford Motor Company. It'd be sad to see this one go, but that was a real nice one, taking out all of that stuff. Nice little year for Ford. Cisco still was 222 year, just hit magnitude and backed off. If we go to a bunch of KRE, regional banks, all rev stratted going in there. So you got, gives you Key Corp and PNC and a bunch of those guys that were still working. So just like I said, tons of exhaustion risk, especially now that we're coming into the end of the year. Under Armour takes a 2222 year, just doesn't hit magnitude as yet. Dollar Tree. Also, the hammer counter shooter into the highs. That was real nice. Once again, exhaustion risk. Prudential, more financials. Your RevStrat year, and still got some magnitude to go into all-time highs. Aflac here, 222 year, still working. Just hits exhaustion risk like so many things, so I won't waste too much time on stuff like that. DRI here, that nice triangle layout, and then boom, pandemics. So it's going to be interesting here that what we're going to have here coming into the new year, we're going to have a lot of inside years. And we knew that was going to happen after the pandemic smackdown. A lot of things getting stuck. Your airlines, your Boeings, and all that kind of stuff. So what's going to be interesting coming into the new year is which side of those things do we take out, right? So if you go to something like Boeing, which side of this year do we take out? Right now, you're close to taking out the bottom, right? And so we'll be keeping an eye. Obviously, pandemics will still be in the news. So I'm not going to waste too much time here as we go into exhaustion on all this stuff. So let's get to the end of the year and let's see how they close them out. SPY, nowhere near 322 year, and once again that quarter. Here, still handily two up, and we're seeing that. So if anything, we got the Dow Jones and the small cappers are going to be the first clues to any problems if we're going to start going down. And then we want to see how these inside years close out for all the pandemic names, and do they start going back down, right? That do something. So that's something we want to know about right now. End of the quarter, end of the year. Let's get to it, and then we'll have a big macro coming out New Year's Eve. Or should I say New Year's Day? All right. That's going to do it for this macro vid. Let's finish them off. All right. It's going to do it for Dan Rob Smith, Smith & Black.